What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we are talking about the crowning Duologue rocket launcher. It is a precision frame rocket launcher and is the first and only Strand rocket launcher that we currently have in the game. It is okay, but it is pretty basic, and you know, like me myself, I do collect all of the weapons, well, I try to inside Destiny 2, and this is a very easy weapon to collect. Now, first and foremost, you don't have to complete any of the armor upgrades or anything like that. All you have to do is play the Bonfire Bash and you have a chance at getting a drop. Now, for me personally, since it is the only Strand rocket launcher inside the game, I did want to collect me a decent roll, though this is not one of the best rocket launchers in the game. Actually, it's probably one of the worst rocket launchers in the game, but I digress. Hopefully it'll get buffed maybe in the future, but right now rocket launchers really aren't in a good spot. We do have some other weapons that are just far superior. Now, as far as builds go with this rocket launcher, it does, I guess, have some form of build synergy, but I really wouldn't use this rocket launcher based off of that. It's just really pretty much just a collectible. They really put this weapon in here just to get people to play the Solstice event, and like I said, it's not that good at all. Now, one of the biggest reasons why it's not that good and pretty much why it's lacking is the fact that it is a precision frame. It does the lowest amount of damage in that class, and it's missing a lot of damage dealing perks. Like when we think of rocket launchers, there's no lasting impression. It doesn't have bait and switch. Would have been fantastic. People would have definitely grinded for this if it did have bait and switch, and if it just worked a little bit better with the Strand. Now, with the hatchling perk, I know of course what comes to mind is to use hatchling, but you have to get 3 kills because hatchling is based off of precision kills, and rocket launchers don't necessarily do precision damage in that aspect. So when you shoot a rocket launcher, it does burst damage and it kills the surrounding targets. So to get a threadling to spawn, you have to kill 3 enemies with 1 rocket, essentially. But also, it doesn't mean that there aren't some particular roles that you can go for, but like I said, it's not the best rocket launcher in the game. But for me, precision frames have a soft spot in my heart just because I used to enjoy the tracking with them. They're very easy to use, but they've been nerfed into oblivion compared to what they used to be in the class. And then we have, you know, of course, the exotics. You know, I used to love Truth. Truth was fantastic, but not to stray too far off topic, we are going to get into some god rolls with this weapon if you are trying to hunt for it. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to go with volatile launch. In that first column, it does give you a plus 15 for your blast radius, and it does increase that explosive payload. So I would advise at least getting that. It does increase that blast radius by a large amount. Now, it does hurt your handling a little bit and stability, but I don't personally care about those on a rocket launcher. And then for that second trait column, I am going to go with the alloy casing because it increases my reload speed. So this perk is essentially a weight reduction perk, so it does increase that reload speed greatly by plus 30, and it does hurt your stability by minus 10. But like I said, I don't really care about stability when it comes to rocket launchers. I'm just trying to shoot them and go on about my business. Now, for that third trait column, I'm going to go with Demolitionist or auto-loading holster. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. And Demolitionist basically states kills with this weapon generate grenade energy, activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon from reserve. So it's a fantastic perk. You get a quick reload in, all you gotta do is throw a grenade. And then for that final trait column, I'm gonna go with either chain reaction or cluster bombs. Now, cluster bombs shoots out a cluster of 8 bombs, and it deals 51 damage per cluster. So it is a decent perk when it comes to this particular rocket launcher, just because we don't really have the damage dealing perks like we typically have, like bait and switch or lasting impression. Some of those other higher damage dealing perks, we just don't have them on this rocket launcher. Now, chain reaction is a fantastic perk as well, and it basically states each final blow with this weapon creates an elemental damage explosion, so it can chain kills, triggers an explosion matching the weapon's element that deals 84 damage over a 3-meter radius. In PvP, that is 56, but I digress. I wouldn't be trying to take this rocket launcher inside of PvP, and my perks are actually going to stay the same for PvE and PvP if you do decide to use this rocket launcher. Like I said, just pretty much just play the Bonfire Bash, and eventually you will acquire this particular role or the role that you happen to be looking for. Now for me, this is the actual god roll of this weapon. Now you can go with impact casing. Since this is a precision frame, you can get some direct impact because impact casing does increase your damage by, I think, 2, but it's not that serious to where it's benefiting you tremendously. Now, if you really just want this rocket launcher, by all means, but for me, inside of the Solstice event, I'm actually hunting for the god roll of something new, which is the stasis hand cannon. Now we do have a trait called Dream Work, which is the origin trait of this weapon, and it is on all of these Solstice weapons. So it basically states once per reload, assists or assisted final blows partially refill the magazine from reserves, potentially overflowing the magazine. I haven't had that happen yet. I mean, it's a rocket launcher, so that's going to be hard to get any type of assist to get that preload. And then for my masterwork, I'm just going to go to handling masterwork. You do have velocity or blast radius. It really just depends on what you're actually looking for. And the reason why I say that this weapon is lacking is mainly just because it does not have the damage dealing perks, and it is a precision frame, which is actually one of the worst types of archetypes for rocket launchers currently. And of course, the precision frames shoot a small auto tracking missile. Right now, this rocket launcher has a ton of competition with Apex Predator, the Hothead if people have those, even Blowout from the Crucible. Those are easily farmable, and they do have more perks that you can actually roll at these weapons. And then of course we do have the craftable rocket launchers, and I just feel like this rocket launcher in particular is just lacking. I feel like Bungie could have marketed this rocket launcher a lot more, especially if they want people to pay the extra $10 for the event card and the Solstice event. Now keep in mind, you do not have to complete any of the armor objectives or anything like that. You don't have to buy the event card. All you have to do is play the Bonfire Bash, and you can collect this rocket launcher as well as the other Solstice event weapons. Now, I pretty much just picked it up because it's Strand. You never know, it could get to a point where it becomes meta. I highly doubt it, like completely. I don't think it will. Maybe we'll get another Strand rocket launcher eventually. I'm actually waiting on a Strand bow, but I digress. We'll see in the coming weeks as this season closes out. Now you do have roughly 2 more weeks left of the Solstice event, so if you haven't completed those challenges and you're looking for the glow, it's very easy to do. But I don't want to get too sidetracked on that. Solstice has changed so much since we've actually started playing it. I remember when we had to do the reward campaign like multiple times, collect a bunch of different orbs, and now it's just a cakewalk. You can complete it within a couple of hours. I guess, you know, they really adjusted the event, so to speak. Well, that's going to do it for me, guys. We will have some more reviews coming out. I definitely want to re-review the Something New hand cannon just because it does have some fantastic trait combinations, and that in particular is really the weapon that you should be going after. But I digress. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you all in the next video.